वागीशाद्याः सुमनसः सत्त्वार्थानामुपक्रमे यं नत्वा कृतकृत्याः स्युः तं नमामि गजाननम् जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृतं यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तं वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां योगिनं विश्वनाथाख्यम् अस्मत्तातस्वरूपिणम् आत्मलाभात् परं लाभं वक्तारं न कदाचन गीतार्थग्रन्थकर्तारं श्रीगुरुं प्रणमाम्यहम् योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मे वाचं धृतिं बुद्धिं प्रचोदयात् ॐ नमः सभाभ्यः सभापतिभ्यश्च वो नमः। Friends, we are going to be doing part 3 of Shruti Gita today. In this session, we are going to take 4 shlokas from Shruti Gita. As you know, Shruti Gita has 28 shlokas. I am selecting a few of them, and the 5th selection, we have done 4 shlokas so far. The 5th selection I am taking up now. This is Bhagavatam 10th Skanda, 87th chapter, shloka number 19. Swakrita vichitra yonishu mishanniva hetu taya. Are you able to show? Taratamatascha analavat swakrita nukritihim athavitata swamu swavitatam tabadhamasamam virajadhiyonvayanti abhivipanyavayekarasam. These are all difficult shlokas. I will try my best to make them simple for you. Please concentrate. Swakrita vichitra yonishu. Swakrita vichitra yonishu. He did it. He created. Vichitra yonishu. In diverse creations of his. You see? So in these diverse creations of yours, Shruti, the Vedas are addressing the Lord. So Swakrita vichitra yonishu. Vishanniva, Vishan, entered, having entered, Iva, as it were, having entered, as it were. I am going to talk about this Iva word later more elaborately. So, Swakrita vichitra yonishu, Vishanniva, hetu taya. Hetu is reason. So, there is a cause. Because of the fact, you are the cause. Hetu taya. You are the cause of all this creation. So, cause not only upadana karana, also nimitta karana, both material and efficient. So because of the fact you are the cause, hetutaya taratamas-chakasi, taratamataha. That is a very rare Sanskrit word, means both in the small and in the great, both in the high and in the low. Taratamataha. You shine, chakasi. Chakasi means you are shining. Analavati, like the fire. Taratamas chakasi analavati. I am following the words in the shloka. So, analavati, like the fire. Swakritanu kritihi, assuming various forms, again done by him, and manifesting identification with shape and character. Anu, that Anu is a very crucial word. Anupravesha Shruti is great in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad always. That is, the Lord is immanent in everything. He has done the Anupravesha, immanent. The English word for Anupravesha is being immanent, becoming immanent. So, he has assumed various forms by himself. Swakrita, by himself he has done it. Anukritihi, he has done it in such a way that he has assumed the shape and character of the individuals in whom he has done the immanence. He has done the anupravesha. What does fire do? Fire, log of wood is there. Or you can have a round wood. Or you can have a block of wood. When fire catches them, the fire takes their shape and their character. That's the beauty. But the fire is the same. There is no difference between this fire and that fire. The lengthwise log of wood in that fire and the spherical wise log of wood in that fire, there is no difference. But the shape and character are different. So that is what the Lord does. He has been immanent in all of us, but He has taken the shape and character of each one of us differently. This is why people think that there are so many souls or so many others. So, Swakrita Anukritihi Taratamas Chakasi Analavate Swakrita Anukritihi. So He shines in small men, in big men, in small creations, in big creations, in complicated creations, simple creations, everywhere He shines. Atha, therefore, Atha Amushu Vitatasu Amushu Atha Vitataswamushva Vitatam. See, the words are difficult, but the meaning is powerful. Amushu Vitatasu. Vitata means transient, ephemeral, evanescent, quickly fading. So that is the meaning of Vitata. Amushu Vitata. So Amushu means this. In these transient bodies, He is shining. Avitatam Tavadhama. But He is Avitata. Vitata means transient. Avitata means not transient, eternal. He is eternally true. His eternal eminence. Samam, equally, Tavadhama, His glory. Virajadhiyaha, people who are devoid of rajas or passion. Those who have divested themselves of all their desires. Virajadhiyaha. Viraja, that is, they have renounced all their desires in their minds. Desires and also attachment, not only here but hereafter, either in this world or in the other worlds. Abhivipanyavaha, those devoid of the desire for the fruits of actions. This particular word I don't understand myself very well. How the meaning, those devoid of the desire of the fruits of actions. This is the meaning every commentator gives, but they don't explain. Abhivipanyavaha. Where comes this desire for the fruits of actions? I don't know. I have not been able to consult scholars yet. So anyway, such people, Ekarasam Anvayanti. Anvayanti, recognize you. Ekarasam as the one source, enduring spirit. So that is what it says. Virajadhiyaha Anvayanti Abhivipanyava Ekarasam. So the Lord has entered, as it were, Vishanniva, diverse types of living organisms evolved by Himself, though as a matter of fact, He already exists in them as their material cause. And assuming these forms, He shines. He shines through them as high or low, like fire. Right? Therefore, men who are unclouded in their judgment, Virajadhiyaha, men unclouded in their judgment, they don't expect any worldly fruits of actions. They have no desires. They don't expect any reward. You see, that is the meaning of Abhivipanyavaha. Though they recognize your true nature, the Lord, they are addressing the Lord. They recognize your true nature as the one immutable, undifferentiated and uniform substance, Ekarasam, one undifferentiated, uniform substance in those unreal forms. The forms in which He has manifested, they are all unreal, but the reality has become immanent in them. So the analogy of fire is a very powerful analogy here. Though undifferentiated, the fire, it assumes diverse shapes, as I told you already, according to the shape of the logs of firewood. In fact, Kathopanishad has a famous quotation on this. Agnirgyataiko bhuvanam pratishto rupam rupam pratirupo babhuva. Agnihi, that is fire, enters the world Pratishtaha, Rupam Rupam. It takes that form, which in which it has entered. Yathaiko bhuvanam pratishto rupam rupam pratirupo babhuva ekastata sarvabhutantaratma. There is only one absolute, ekaha sarvabhutantaratma. He has become immanent in every living being. Rupam rupam pratirupo bahuscha. So he has taken all the many different forms and appears as many. This one as many is the fundamental truth of this Advaita. This many should not confuse you. The many is only an appearance. The one is the truth. So, just as fire, though having entered the world, assumes several forms in respect of different shapes, similarly, the self inside all beings, though one, appears as many. Now I will come to the word Iva. Scientists, mathematicians, when they publish a research paper, they have to be very concise, precise. They should not use, because these journals where they publish serious papers, they have no space for elaborate blah 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 blah. So you have to be very precise and use only that much which is necessary, and should not use any unnecessary word or explanation which does not add to the content. So mathematicians, without laws of precision, one has to word a paper like this. This is the way that this Shruti, Vedas have done here. Vishanniva, in all the 28 verses of the Shruti Gita, you will not find one extra word which does not add to the content. No unnecessary word. Here is an example of the precision with which the Vedas speak. I refer to the word Iva, Vishan Iva. Even the Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, only says Tat Srishtvam Tadeva Nupravishat Tadanupravishya. There is no Iva there. But when you look at the commentaries, you will find the Iva word very seriously emphasized by Shankara, particularly Advaita, certainly, because I will tell you where it comes from. So, having created the universe, he entered it. That is what the Upanishad says. But the Iva is in the commentaries and in the meanings. So here, these Shruti, these Vedas who are now praising the Lord, they want to be very correct. So, Vishanniva. Swakrita Vichitra Yonishu Vishanniva. Vishanniva. This is one place where this Iva has been used in this context. There is a beautiful context. There is a famous quotation in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad where the Iva has been used. Of course, that is what Shankara, Adi Shankara uses every time when he wants to say that the Atma is Akarta. Katama Atmeti Yoyam Vijnanamayah Praneshu Hridayantarjyotihi Purushaha Sa Samanam Samanaham Sanne Ubau Loko Anusancharati Dhyayativa Lelayativa. These are the only two places, only one place, so to say, where the word Iva is used in all the entire Upanishads. I have the word of Sri Paramaswami Paramarthananda to say this. This is the only place. The Iva has not been used anywhere. Dhyayati Iva. It looked, he thinking as it were. Lelayati Iva. You see, there are two functions. Thinking function, knowing function. Thinking function, knowing function. Neither of these functions are actions of the Atman. It appears Dhyayati Iva, Lelayati Iva. The context is, the question is, what is the self? Katama Atma. The person here who consists of knowledge among the senses, the light within the heart. Hridayantar Jyotihi. He remaining the same. So Samanas Sanne Uvauloko Anusancharati. He wanders along the two worlds. What are the two worlds? One that has been attained and the one that has yet to be attained. So seeming to think and seeming to move about. Dhyayati Iva Loya lola lelayati ve. Dhyayati means think, lelayati means act. This is quoted by Shankaracharya hundreds of times in his writings whenever he wants to show that Atma is akarta, actionless. There is no other direct statement in the Upanishads to this effect. Though we have certainly many in the Gita. Sharirastopi kaunteya nakaroti nalipyate. Anaditvan nirgunatvat paramatma yamobhyaha. Sharirastopi kaunteya nakaroti nalipyate. Even though he is in the sharira, even in the body, he does not do a thing, he is not affected by anything. Nakaroti nalipyate. So wherever actionlessness, which is the central thread in the entire Gita, wherever actionlessness for the Atman has to be established, Shankara quotes Dhyayativa, Lelayativa. Dhyayati here means Janati, cognizes, knows. Lelayati means Karoti, does action, moves, wavers. All our actions can be classified into two kinds: the knowing function and the doing function. Knowing is supported by our Antakarana, inner organ, mind. So it is that of the Jnanendriyas. Knowing function is that of the Jnanendriyas. The second one, the doing function, is supported by the pranas, is that of the Karmendriyas. Both actions are mithya, says the Upanishad. Thought and action do not inhere in the Atman, do not belong to the real nature of the self. This is the purport of the two words iva, in that Brihadaranyaka quotation, as though as. The Paramatma does neither the knowing function nor the doing function. Then who does it? It is the reflection, his reflection in the buddhi which is doing all this. You see the moon in the water, it shakes, lelayati. But the moon is firm, there is no shaking. So what shakes now? The reflecting medium. It is the buddhi. The reflecting medium, this has to be correctly understood. If you understand this correctly, there will be, the confusions will be less in understanding Advaita. So, the false identification of Chidabhasa with Buddhi. You see, his reflection, Buddhi are different. His reflection is Chidabhasa. Buddhi, this false identification between Chidabhasa and Buddhi makes it appear as if the Paramatma is doing everything. Not at all. The self appears limited on account of its conjunction with Buddhi. The intellect, Buddhi, is that which is illumined. It does not light anything, but the light of the self is that which illumines, like light. Physics. What does light do? It falls on that and it illumines that. Immediately you see that. But there is no light there. It is this light that is showing there. This is what happens. So that is the duty of the shloka. Virajal taratamatas shakasi analavate swakritanu krutihi swakrita vichitrayonishu vishanniva hetutaya. In fact, there is a very interesting quotation from Shvetashvataropanishad. Eko deva sarvabhuteshu gudaha sarvavyapi sarvabhutantaratma karmadhyakshaha sarvabhuta devasaha sakshi cheta kevalo nirgunascha. The one Lord, He is there hidden in every living being. He permeates everything. Sarva Bhutantaratma. He is immanent in every living being. The complete summary of the entire Advaita is stated here. Karma Dhyakshaha. He is only supervising the karma. He is not doing anything. Sarva Bhutadivasa. He is residing in every being. Sakshi. His witness. Cheta. But he is the one who motivates you. Motivates you in the sense, he is the one who is giving you the life to do it. There is a street lamp. Something is happening down below, a thief or whatever. Because of the light he is doing that, but the light is not doing anything. But if the light was not there, he would not do it, because he has no light. So Sakshi, that Sakshi is there. Cheta, Kevalaha Nirgunasya, he is Nirguna. This is a Shweta quotation which should be remembered, and that is elaborated in this shloka, 19th shloka of Bhagavatam, selection 5, as we have said. We will go to selection number 6, which is 20th shloka of the same chapter in the Bhagavatam. Swakrita pureshu amish abahirantaspa samvaranam Swakrita pureshvamishvabhirantara samvaranam Tava purusham vadanti akila shakti dhrutom shakrutam iti nirgatim vivichya kavayo nigamavapanam bhavata upasate ngrim abhavam bhuvi vishvasita. In fact, in all of scriptural literature, you will not find such difficult passages. But this difficult passage, though it is terse, it contains all the contents, all the truths of Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, particularly in a powerful language, right here. Purusham vadanti. The Shrutis speak of the Jiva. Speak of him as what? As dwelling. Purusham vadanti. Purusham vadanti is in the second line. Amishu swakrita pureshu. Amishu, this. Swakrita pureshu. Swakrita means done by himself. Pureshu, in these bodies. In these bodies shaped as a result of its own deeds, one's own past karma. Swakrita pureshu amishu. He is dwelling. This jiva is dwelling. Abahirantara samvaranam. A complicated word. Abahirantara samvaranam. First, take away the a. Bahirantara samvaranam. Bahihi stands for external effect. Antara stands for internal cause. Cause and effect. Samvarana means the coordination. Without the spiritual nature being effaced by anything within or without, in the midst of the cause-effect relationship. That is why that A is there. A is for negation. Bahirantara samvaranam. The cause and the effect, that coordination without any such thing. Within or without, in the midst of the cause-effect relationship, nothing is effaced. Abahirantara samvaranam. So the composite word means that which is not limited or covered by anything of the nature of cause and effect. Swakrita pureshvamish vabhirantara samvaranam. Samvarana means covering. Tava purusham vadanti akila shakti dhrutom shakrutam. Akila shakti dhrutom shakrutam. The Shrutis are addressing the Lord. You are a wielder of all potencies. Akila shakti dhrita. These bodies are only a part made as it were out of you. Akila shakti dhrita amsha kritam. By your power as a part of yours, these bodies are only a part of yours. Akila Shakti, you are a wielder of all potencies. Iti nrigatim vichintya vivichya. Vivichya means arriving through discrimination. Vivichya. Right? So, iti nrigatim, thus the source, the spiritual origin and destiny of man, nrigati. You can see these are not direct meanings, but this is the way you have to interpret them. Nr comes from man. Gati, his destiny, his origin and destiny, say the commentators. So, without the commentators' meanings, you would be lost to understand these things. Iti nrigatim vivichya. Kavayaha. What do great people, wise men do? Kavayaha. Wise men. Bhavataha upasate. They worship you. They propitiate you. Vishvasita. Having great faith and devotion. What do? Bhavataha angrim nigamavapanam abhavam. Last line. Bhavataha angrim abhavam nigamavapanam. Bhavataha angri. Angri means feet. Your feet. They worship your feet. Nigamavapanam abhavam. First I will tell you what abhavam means. Bhava means samsara. Again and again, being, having birth and death. So abhava means put an end to birth and death. Those feet, worshipping those feet will put an end to birth and death, samsara. Nigamavapanam. Nigama means Vedas, scriptures. Nigamavapanam. All acts of the Vedas, prescribed by the Vedas, enjoined by the Vedas, are offered at your feet. So that is why it is given as an adjective to Angrim. Bhavataha Angrim Nigamavapanam Abhavan. So the Vedas speak of the Purusha dwelling in these bodies shaped by yourself, though as a matter of fact, made it as if out of you, the wielder of all potencies. Having thus determined the nature of the Purusha, Nrigatim Vivichya. Nrigatim Vivichya. It is a kind of obtaining the result of research in doing the Nrigati. What is the destiny of man? Where did man begin? So, having thus determined the nature of the Purusha, the wise people on this earth, full of faith, adore Vishwasito, adore your feet, at which acts enjoined by the Vedas are offered, and they put an end to all rebirth. So what is the purport of the sloka? It is to emphasize the identity of the individual self with the universal self. Sayaschayam Purushe Yascha Savaditya. What you see there as Aditya, the sun, that is there right here. Right? So that is a kind of a inferential meaning out of this shloka. Bhavata upasate ngrim abhavam bhuvi vishwasitaha tava purusham vadanti abahirantara samvaranam pureshu amishu. So that one is selection 6. We will go to selection 7. I think this will be easy comparatively. Nibhrita marun manokshat Dridayoga yujo hridi yan munaya upasate tadarayo piyayu smaranat striyayu uragendra bhoga bhujadanda vishakta diyo vayamapite samah samadrishongri saroja sudhaham. I think the Vedas deliberately complicated the language and used such difficult Sanskrit words and put it in such a difficult meter also, because if they also did what you and I did, you see, like ordinary, I praise you, O Lord, you are everything, just what we say, that's the same thing if the Shrutis say, then what is the greatness of the Shrutis? That is what they have done here. But they have put all the content of Vedanta in their shlokas. Nibhrita marun manoksha dridayoga yujo hridi yan munaya upasate. Yan munaya upasate. What great sages are meditating on? Yati munayaha upasate hridi, in their heart. Whom are we talking about? Dridayoga yujaha. Dridayoga yujaha, the great yogic scholars. The great yogis, pandits, experts in yoga. Drida, they are consistent. Drida yoga yuja. They are experts in consistent performance of yoga. Nibhrita marun, how do they do it? Nibhrita marun manoksha. Nibhrita means controlled. Marut, prana, inhalation, exhalation, vital forces. Marut, mana, controlling the mind. Aksha, senses. So they are controlling the prana, the mind and the senses. Completely controlled. Nibhrita, right? Yat munayaha hridi upasate. Whatever these introspective sages meditate in their heart, what happens to that? Tate arayaha api. Even enemies. Arayaha. Ari means enemy. Tate arayaha api. The enemies of viewers also, you who have obtained. What is the example? We know that. Shishupala, right? Ravana. All these enemies, constant smarana. So he is saying that. How did they obtain it? By smaranat, by sheer remembrance of you. Yes, though for fear or envy or enmity comes up, right? They have obtained. Further example, Striyaha, the woman, the cowherdesses of the gopis of Gokulam. Uragendra bhoga bhujadanda vishakta dhiyaha. We all know what is happening here, but look at the words. Uragendra. Uragendra means the king of all serpents, Adishesha. Bhoga, his body. The Uragendra, the Adishesha's body, if you keep it horizontally, that the Bhujadanda, the Lord's arms are like that. Bhuja, Shruti, when they are worshipping the Lord, when they are saying all the Vedanta, they are also poetic. That poetic excellences they are showing. Bhujagendra, Bhoga, Bhujadanda, Vishakta Dhiyaha. Bhujadanda, the arms which are powerful, handsome. His body, the arms of the Lord. Vishakta Dhiyaha. The cowherdesses, gopis, are immersed, their minds are immersed, Vishakta Dhiyaha, for what? For the embrace by the Lord, by these hands. The hands are described as Uragendra Bhujadanda. So they have longed for the embrace of your arms, powerful and handsome like Adishesha. They have also obtained it. The same thing. These yogis, for long concentration, you see, jnanavasthita sadgatena manasa pashyanti yam yogina yasyantam navidussura surgana devaya tasmai namaha. So dhyanavasthita, that kind of yoga these enemies have obtained. The cowherdesses, gopis have obtained. Samadrishaha, we too, who are always conscious of the Supreme Brahman, Samadrishagam, Angri Saroja Sudhaha, we enjoy only the drink of the essence of your lotus feet. Angri Saroja Sudhaha, Angri feet, Saroja lotus, Sudhaha essence, the honey. Te Samaha, all of us are equal in your eyes. Whether they are the enemy, whether they are the lovers, gopi, whether they are sages by jnana. So, recall the Narayaniyam shloka. Aikyam te dana yoga vrata niyama tapas sankhya yoga durapam tvatsangena iva gopya kila sukurti samaha prapurananda sandram. You see, that which cannot be obtained by so many other methods, the gopis are obtained by simple loving you, constantly remembering you. In fact, in the Bhagavatam, you know the in the Mahabharata, Rajasuya Yaga is done by Yudhishthira, and all the people are there, and then all the kings are there, and then the Shishupala comes there, and then who is going to be the Agra first Namaskar or first person, and Yudhishthira proposed, suggested Krishna, Lord Krishna, and Shishupala objected. And he went on scolding him, all those things you know. After 100 scoldings, Krishna put an end to him by his Sudarshana Chakra. But people all saw that from Shishupala, a Jyoti rose up and went right into the heart of Lord Krishna. So they were all surprised. So Yudhishthira asks Shuka, Narada. Yudhishthira asks Narada, Yudhishthira asks Narada, or Parikshit asks Shuka, I think, when he is telling the story. What is this? How did this happen? And Shuka's reply, famous sloka, Gopya kamat bhayat kamsaha dveshat chaidyadayo nrupaha sambandhat vrishnayaha sneghat yuyam bhaktya vayam vibho. Hey, don't think that everybody has to be a devotee of the Lord in order to reach moksha. Gopyaha kamat, the gopis, by sheer love, they reach him. Bhayat kamsaha. Kamsa was constantly in fear of the Lord. He was thinking of the Lord and nothing but the Lord. He also reached him. Bhayat kamsaha. Dveshat chaidyadayo nrupaha. These fellows, Shishupala and other kings, Dveshat, by sheer hate, they constantly remembered him. They reached him. Sambandhat vrishnayaha. These Dwaraka people, because they were kinship, Sambandhat, they were related to Krishna, so they were also had moksha. Snehad Yuyam, he is telling Parikshit. Parikshit is the grandson of Arjuna. So Snehad, by sheer affection, Snehad, Vishnu, Yuyam, you people, Pandavas and other people, you have obtained moksha by affection. Snehad Yuyam Bhaktya Vayam. Shuka says, by bhakti we are also reaching him, Vibho. So, this is a famous shloka. And that is what is mentioned here. Gopya kamat bhayat kamso dveshat chaityadayo nrupagam sambandhat vrishnaya snehati yuyam bhaktya vayam vibho. Okay, that takes care of selection 7. We will go to 8th selection, which is shloka number 24 in the same chapter 87 of Bhagavatam. Very important shloka, and contains a famous question. A question which comes back from Rigveda. Who knows? Who knows? You are asking several questions about the Lord. When did He create it? Why did He create it? Where did He create it? How did He create it? All sorts of silly questions. Our students, our people, Astikas, Nastikas, Astikas who want to learn, Nastikas who never believe anything, all these people are asking the same questions. Who knows? How do you know? How can be anybody know? This is the content of that Ko adha veda kaiha pravochate kuta jata kuta yam visrishti. This is Rigveda shloka repeated in Yajurveda. How does anybody know? Ko adha veda. Probably this Brahma, who was the first person, probably he knows not. Ko adha veda kaiha pravochate. Perhaps he knows not. That is said here in Shruti, the Veda style. Kaihanu Veda Batavara Janmalayograsaram Yata Udaga Drishi Yamanu Deva Gana Ubaye Tarhina Sannacha Sati Ubayam Nachakala Javaham Kimapina Tatra Shastram Avakrishya Sayita Yada. Ka Iha Nu Veda Avarajanmalayaha. What are we? We are not the firstborn. We came long after the Lord. So we are individual of posterior birth and death. Our life started after you ever appeared. Agrasaram, you appeared before all of us. This appeared word itself is wrong. Anyway, I have no other word. Kaiha Veda. Who knows? Who can know? How do the Avarajanma people, the later appearing people, know about the earlier appearing people unless he tells you? Yata Udaga Drishihi. From whom? From you. Brahma came. Yada Avakrishya Sagita. Avakrishya Sagita. Finally you absorb. Withdraw everything into yourself and then you repose. Avakrishya Sayita, repose. take rest. When you repose after having withdrawn everything into yourself, what happens then? Nasa nacha asat. Nasanna cha asat. Nasate nacha asat. Sati stands for concrete, gross, space, fundamental element. Asat stands for subtle Mahat principle from which the space element evolved. So it was not neither the Sat nor the Asat, neither the gross element nor the subtle Mahat principle. They are not going to be there when you repose. Nacha kala javaha. Kala, time. Javaha, flow. Kala javaha, the flow of time. See, you talk of last year before, last century, 5,000 years ago, previous kalpa, so many things. So time flows. But when everything is withdrawn into himself and he reposes, there is no kala javaha. Time, there is no question of time. Time does not flow. Nacha kala javaha. This is rather difficult for people to understand because all of us are steeped in the language of physics. Nacha kala javaha. Time does not flow, but time started when the Lord is ready to wake up. Sir, I can't believe it. Or I don't believe it. That is the truth. Nacha kala javaha. Nor the flux of time. Na ubhayam. Nor the product of both. Kimapi na. Nothing else. Na tatra shastram. There was no scriptures. There were no Vedas. Sir, we are told Vedas are eternal. Yes, Vedas are eternal. It was there in the previous kalpa, in the next kalpa. But otherwise, then thereafter, it is in the subtle form, it is with the Lord. What individual of posterior birth and death can possibly know? You, who are anterior to everybody, from whom came forth Brahma, after whom appeared the two classes of God, Ubaya, Yujaha. You see the word there? Yata Udagad, Rishihi, Yam Anu, Devagana Ubaye, Devagana Ubaye. The two classes of divines. They, when you repose after having withdrawn everything, there exists at that time neither the gross phenomenon, nor the subtle, nor the scriptural test. This is where I want you to recall the Rigveda passage. It says, who knows the absolute reality directly? Who will be able to expound it? Where would these creations have come from but from him? Deities, lower deities, Arvak, Deva, Asya Visarjanaya, Ko Adha Vedaka Yika Prabhochate, Kuta Ajata, Kuta Yam Misrati. Where did they come from? Who created them? Arvak Deva, the lower deities, Asya Visarjanena, they will not know about this. Atha ko Ved, perhaps Brahma knows. Yata Babuva, because from him everything came. And then it adds, perhaps he knows not. The whole thing is summarized by saying, creation or the absolute cannot be established by logic. That is why the commentator Nilakanta, who has commented all these shlokas, how can anyone know the subtle truth of the absolute unless instructed by the divinity itself? The Lord has to tell you. Taddattaya vayunayeda machashta vishwam dhruvastuti. Dhruva praises. Taddattaya, you gave that Vayuna. Taddattaya vayunayeda machashta vishwam. When he created Brahma, Brahma did not know what to do, how to do, why, when to do. It is Taddattaya, you gave Brahma that strength, that energy, that whatever. You cannot call it education, you cannot call it scripture or anything. The power to do. So, Taddattaya vayunayeda machashta vishwam. In fact, I used to tell my scientific research people, you go on researching, you start with something very great, then you do research, then the area becomes smaller. Now within that area you raise questions, within that area you raise questions, you keep on raising questions, and you think, the scientists think that ultimately they will have all the answers. No. Every time you have to have. See, when the child which is born yesterday sucks the mother's breast, who told it? Who told it? Tadattaya, by the Lord. Of course, someday they will find a gene number 744K. They will find it, and then they say this is because of that gene it is sucking. I tell you, how did that gene have that property? Tadattaya. Every research ultimately has to end with Tadattaya. You have given it. That is what this shloka says. It's a wonderful shloka. We came after all those things. How can we tell you about what happened before we were all there? So with that, we will stop today's discussion. Shruti Gita, these 4 shlokas, we will continue in the next session. Swasti prajabhya paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahisha go brahmanebhya shubhamastu nityam lokas samastas sukhino bhavantu. Om Tat Sat. The title.